guys, welcome back to our channel. As you can see from the title, we're going to be telling you about our pregnancy story.
And also, don't forget guys, I forgot to mention it in the last video. At the end of this video, we're going to be talking about a giveaway we're going to be doing. Stay tuned.
So it all started when I was in my house. I started getting like these really bad like symptoms and like cramps and stuff. At first, like I just got my period, and then like the pain just started getting like worse and worse like as the days went on. And I usually get like premenstrual cramps, and then like I get it for like 2 days and then I get my period. And then for some reason like it just didn't happen. It kept going for the whole week. I'm like, this is so weird. And then I started getting like really bad bloating, and then I started getting like constipation. And then I just wasn't like feeling like myself. So then I decided to like Google the symptoms of like pregnancy and stuff. And then like I started reading it, and I had literally like every single thing that was listed in there. I had the fatigue, I had bloating, I had the constipation, I had like cramping. So like my head, I was like, oh my god, like I hope I'm not pregnant. So then I told Fabian, I told him that I was pregnant, and then he's like, no, don't, you're overthinking it. It's just probably your period coming soon. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna wait a couple more days. And then the pain was still there. I'm like, oh my gosh, I think I'm like really pregnant. And then he's like, all right, well, go get a test. So then I got a test, and then remember when I saw it, 'cause I peed on the stick, and then there was one full line, and then the second one was like fainted. And I was like, what does that mean? Like, does that mean like I'm pregnant, or like it could be a mistake?
But it was one of those 2-minute tests where you have to like wait 2 minutes for it to like completely be done.
Yeah. And then so I was like, oh my god. And then I was like, no. So I got on the box, I started reading the box, and it says that you're pregnant even if one line is faint. And I was like, oh my god. I'm like, no, maybe this is like a false positive. No. So then I had 2 tests. So then the next day, I was gonna wait till the next day to take the other one. I peed on the stick again. And then this time both lines were like super like noticeable. They were dark, and I was like, crap, it's not false positive. So then like what I was feeling that day, I was like, I was in shock. I was scared for my life. I was scared mostly because of what my parents were gonna do and what were they gonna say. I was just like super scared. And then I told Fabian, and then obviously like what were you feeling?
Well, I found out, I kind of like freaked out. I was like, oh man. This was like a couple years ago, so we were still living with our parents, and I was like, man, you know, I'm still in college. I'm still, you know, I don't have anywhere, you know, to go or anything. So I was like, well, first thing you're gonna think about is getting in trouble. And then I'd have to say it was just like, it's a feeling that's like overwhelming, and like you don't know what to do. So yeah, I ended up kind of stalling for like, what was it, like a week or something, or like it was like a few days after, I think. And I was like, well, we can't hide it anymore. So I was like,
even though I wanted to for like a month. Remember?
Yeah, she wanted to hide it for like a month or something, and she'd be like, oh,
I was so scared.
I got a belly. So I was the first one who ended up telling my parents. My mom wasn't there. She was actually in Puerto Rico at the time, and then my dad was there. So it was just me and my dad, and then my mom and my sisters were in Puerto Rico. And it was around Christmas time, right? Mm-hmm. No, was it? No, it was like in,
after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, after Thanksgiving. So I was like, man, you know, it's gonna ruin the holidays, blah blah. But whatever. So I went and I told my dad. So I was like, I was nervous. I didn't know what to do. What's wrong? So yeah, I was nervous. I didn't know what to do. So I went. I was like, all right, whatever. So I went and told my dad. My dad's like, you know, like my best friend, and like, you know, it was kind of hard because he raised me to be like, you know, different from that, and it was like, for me, it was like I knew I was gonna break his heart. But I had to do it. So I went to his room. He was there laying in bed watching TV. And I was like, I have to talk to you. Was that what happened? And then I was like, I don't know how to tell you, but Nishalli's pregnant. And he was like, what? He was like in shock. He was like, he didn't know what to do. And then obviously, you know, my dad's kind of an angry guy. So I thought he was, you know, gonna like, you know, like beat my butt, but like it was totally different. His reaction was like totally different, because I'm guessing it's just something, you know, you wouldn't expect. So he kind of just like looked at me in disappointment, and then he was like, well, there's really nothing we can do now. We can't go back, you know. You messed up, so the only thing we can try to do is fix it. And honestly, I was surprised by his reaction. So then I had to tell my mom. My mom didn't get home till the next day. My dad didn't tell my mom. He wanted me to tell her. And my mom gets home from Puerto Rico the next day. It was in the morning. And my dad's like, well, go tell your mom. And I go to tell her, and then it's kind of like, my mom, I have something to tell you. Blah, blah, blah. And I tell her, you know, I messed up and Shelly's pregnant now. And she just like, you know, she's like, what? She starts crying and everything, you know. I can't really describe it, like how it actually went down, but it's just a moment that's like really like devastating, because, you know, like it's something you don't hope for your kids. And then after that, you know, both of them, we sat down in the living room, and obviously it's like a sad moment, but, you know, you're talking, you're like, you know, well, you messed up. There's really, the only thing we can do now is focus on that baby, because there's a life, you know, at risk right now. So we got together and we talked about it. We still haven't told Shelly's parents yet, so we had to wait for that first.
So like at first his mom was trying to call my mom, and I was like freaking out because like I wanted to tell them, but thank God my mom answered the phone, so that helped me out a lot. So how it went down was like, I think it was after church. I was gonna tell them, but I got scared to tell them. Yeah, so I came home a little late, and then so they got mad because of that, and then I got mad. So then I went to my room, and then I told my mom, I'm gonna tell you something, but Fabian already left, so I'm not gonna tell you anymore. I was just mad at being stupid. And she comes to my room like in the middle of the night, and then she's like, oh, what you have to tell me? And then like I was just like so scared. I was like, nothing, forget it, I'll tell you another day. So then she sits in the corner of my bed, and then she's like, what did you tell me? And then like for some reason I just started like laughing. I was like nervous laughing, and I was like, you're gonna kill me if I tell you. And then she's like, what? Just tell me. And then I got serious. Before that, the first person I actually told, my sister. Mind you, she was the first person that I told. And then from her, she told me to tell my mom, or if not, she was gonna tell her. And then like I wanted to tell my mom, obviously, like from my point. So then anyways, back to that. So then we were back on the bed, and then she said, what to tell me? And then I was like, I grabbed the blanket, I put it over my head, and I was like about to cry. I started getting watery. And then I was like, you're gonna kill me if I tell you. She was like, what? And then I was like, I'm pregnant. And then she's like, no me digas eso. I forgot she said that. And then, but she was like, but she said it in a way, she was like, you know, like, she was like broken. She's like, oh my God, don't tell me that. And then she's like, yeah. And then she's like, we have to tell, you know, your stepdad. We have to tell your stepdad. And now she said, we can't hide that from him. And then he was in the bed at that time. So then she gets up, she's like, all right, I'll tell him, just stay here. And then like when she left, like my heart was racing, I had butterflies in my stomach. I was like about to like pee myself. I was so scared, like literally I was so scared. And then all I heard was like, huh? Like what? And then like literally I look at the hallway, all the lights are turning on, and I was like, my life, like I'm done. So then so he comes in, but they weren't like mad at me. I mean, obviously they were mad at me, but they didn't like yell at me or anything. Obviously they were disappointed. They were just like, well, whatever, like you did it. Like obviously there's already a life inside of you. We're not gonna like, obviously we don't believe in abortion, so we're not gonna do that. And the first thing he wanted to do was talk to Fabian. So then like at that time it was like already 12 o'clock, and then Fabian was still driving to his house, and then he calls Fabian, and then Fabian answers, and then he's like, oh, I want a meeting with, you know, your family and my family tomorrow night. And I was just like so scared. So then, you know, then he said yes. So then after that he hung up, and then he wanted to see for himself that if I really was pregnant. So we were driving to Walmart like at 1 in the morning to go buy more pregnancy tests. So I was in the car, and then I didn't want to talk because I felt like betrayed them in a way. I just like, I already felt like sad for what I did, and I obviously knew that they were sad, but they weren't showing it at that moment. They were just trying to like keep their cool. But I knew that mom was like broken. I knew she was broken. And then so we went to Walmart, and then I'm in the car. Oh, my stepdad, he got out of the car, and then he went to go to the test. I was in the car with mom, and then she's like, you know, you guys have to like get married and do this, blah blah blah. So we were just talking about like, you know, like getting married, you know, like even though we messed up, to like try to fix things as we were going along, cause just not leave it like a mess. So cause then like now we have like a baby in our hands, and we're not just gonna like just be whatever. We messed up, and then now we're gonna try to fix it. So then he comes back, and like he wasn't like really talking to me, my stepdad, cause like I know he was hurt, cause like he's been raising me since I was like a little girl. So I'm his daughter like to him, and I knew he was hurt. So we get home, and then so mom's like in the bathroom with me. She's like, all right, I want to see. I'm like, well, can you please step out real quick? So then she steps out, and then so I take it. I'm like praying that it did not say positive again. So then I take it, and then like immediately like the 2 lines came up, and I'm like, I'm pregnant. So I call my mom in, and I'm like, I gave it to her, and then she's like, all right. And then she shows my stepdad, and he's like, all right, well, there's nothing we can do about it. We're just gonna wait for tomorrow to talk to you know, Fabian and his family. And I knew that night like they both went to bed crying, because they don't like to like show their emotions in front of me. So then I know they went to bed crying, because I found out later on. Then Fabian's family came over to my house.
So yeah, as we tell the story, you know, it might sound like our parents were kind of like chill about it, but
They were.
you know, like it's hard to put it into words what they were feeling. Like, I don't really like, I can't say yeah, I can't I can't say yeah, I know what they were feeling. But I know it was something like really hard for them, for both our parents. Yeah, they weren't. It wasn't like something where they were like, oh yeah, okay, we'll fix it, blah blah. No, it was like something, you know, it really hurt them.
Obviously, from their perspective, like what they felt was like something like very, very like
hard for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're just telling you what we saw.
And yeah,
but we know
because I received a few slaps from my mom, but yeah, so that next day we met up with both our families. We talked about it. You know, obviously it was a hard meeting, and pretty much at first it was kind of like tough to talk about it. You know, both our parents being angry, and pretty much the spotlight was kind of on us.
Yeah.
Mainly on me, because you know I was like the one, you know, supposed to be, you know, doing the right thing, and you know, try to be, you know, someone that our parents raised us to be. Both of us, not just me, but both of us, you know. And it was really hard. At that moment, you were like, you know, like you knew you messed up. You knew you're like, man, you know, I should have never been done that. I should have never been doing that. In that moment, you're like, all right, so now it's just time to take a step to where you got to put your big boy pants on, and you know. So we decided that, you know, we should get married, because you know we can't. He's already on the way. David is falling asleep. So
Don't make him laugh.
I'm sorry. You're just so cute. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to wake you up. So yeah, we ended up moving out, and we went to my parents' house. So yeah, we moved out, and we started our lives pretty much. And it wasn't easy. At first it was like, yay, you know, we're together now. We're kind of excited, you know, because like,
yeah, like I remember like, sorry, on the drive there, I was like, oh my god, we're probably gonna live together, blah blah. Because like we would always like try to be together, like the whole like the relationship of dating, we would like sneak out, we would do all these things just to be together, and then now finally we're together, and so I felt like, oh my gosh, like. So
yeah, I felt like, you know, oh yay, we finally made it to a paradise or dream.
Yeah.
And little by little, it was like, at first it was okay, everything was going good, and then it started getting hard, because you know I started working 2 jobs. I was working at a supermarket, Publix, and I had a shift that was like 3 in the morning. Was it 3 or 2? It was like 2. It would like change 12, out. Yeah, every day it would change out. It could be 2, 3, 1 in the morning. So I would always have to go to bed like really early. Since I had to go to bed so early, we couldn't really talk at night. We couldn't do anything at night. And I had 2 jobs. That wasn't my only job. I had that one, and I was also a substitute teacher, and she was going to school. And then yeah, I also had night classes at night. So the day was all busy and everything, and then it was kind of hard because I wasn't really like giving her as much attention as she needed, especially being pregnant, you know, and especially going through what we went through. It was like a moment where she needed me the most, and that brought up the situation where we began to like kind of argue. At first it was like, you know, little fights here and there, and then it just got worse and worse, and we would just argue. And then it was just like, you know, we kind of got to a place where we're like, you know, like, what are we doing, you know, nothing's going good for us. And then yeah, and we were still living with my parents, and it was hard because, you know, we wanted you know, it's like any relationship, you know, you want to have your own place, you want to have your own things and all this stuff, you know. And not saying that I'm not thankful or anything. We're both very thankful for our parents, my parents, her parents, you know, because the whole time, you know, it was just help and help and help. They were helping us as much as they could. And, you know, my dad even offered to, he bought a land and he offered to, you know, we could get a house on there, and then I just paid for it little by little. But, you know, it was everything, it was off of our parents pretty much. But, you know, my wife was like, it's time for you, you know, we're married now, we have a kid now, it's time for you, you know, like, I have to be the one to provide, you know, not our parents. Yeah, so we kept going on with that, and then finally, one day my dad's like, it was kind of funny because we were on our way out to go somewhere, and my dad was like, you know, you should, if you want to, like, you know, start off your own stuff, then you should, like, look into the Army, because they got good benefits, they have good this, and that. And then first thing that came into my mind was like, no, like, you know, that's war, that's, you know,
I thought I was like, oh my God,
that's death.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that, and I was like, you know, I told him, yeah, I'll look into it, blah, blah, blah. I was like, yeah, and then my wife's like, no, don't do that, blah, blah, blah. I'm never gonna be able to see you, this and that. And it was hard, and then I think that same day I went, right?
Yeah.
That same day, I was like, all right, whatever. But before we get into the whole Army part, I want my wife to explain how, you know, how she felt throughout the whole thing.
Okay, so then when I got there, everything was like good for like a couple weeks, and then like I was like a month or 2 months in, like everything just like, well, slowly started like going downhill from there. Like I don't know, I just started getting like
Sorry we're so like emotional. It was something, it was a big experience in our life. Go ahead.
Cause I guess I was just pregnant and had like so many like emotions like going through my head, and like I was just like so very hormonal. Hungry all the freaking time. Yeah, what he said, like I just wanted to be with him, and then but like we just started like arguing a lot, and it was just like a very hard time for me. And then I felt like alone at this point, where I was just like always in the room, because like I just needed like someone to talk to, because like I was just like so sad about the whole thing. I felt like, you know, my parents didn't like me, like everybody, like everything. So I was like always in the room all the time. They were trying to get me out of there. I didn't want to get out of the room. I just want to be in the room all the time. I just started feeling like I was like a bother, but so I would stay in the room all the time. And then I just like really started to like miss my mom, because like I really needed her during that time. And then so then we just like it just kept going downhill from there. Like I would cry all night, and then like I just like wasn't feeling myself. And then there were just days when I just wanted to talk to like Fabian, but like things happened. And then like after that, like it just kept getting like more sad and more sad. And then like all I would literally do was just cry. Like out of nowhere, I would just like cry. And then like obviously I was just like super sensitive with the whole thing. Like my whole emotional state wasn't like, if you've been through pregnancy, then you always know what I'm talking about, like how your hormones are like everywhere. So then yeah, that happened. And then like the day where like his dad told him to go to the Army, like I just started like crying. I didn't like want him to leave, because I knew he had to leave. Like obviously like for basic you have to like leave. And I started crying more because like I was still pregnant, and like he was gonna be gone by the time he was born. I'm like at least I need you like for that time. And then, so then he's like, no, I'm not gonna do it, blah, blah, blah. I'm just gonna look into it, but I'm not really gonna do it. And then I'm like, all right, whatever. And then I keep seeing that he kept going to like the thing and like and stuff. He just kept going. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, are you really gonna do this? And then he's just like, I think I might just like, you know, just give it a shot or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, the very first day she told me, you know, not to do it. And, you know, after my dad told me to go check it out. So I went, just to see, you know, I was like, whatever, I'll see what it is, you know, that they offer this and that. So I went in, got that job, and then I had to go into the whole process of where, you know, they check your whole, pretty much your whole life. They checked everything, came out good, and then all I had to do was sign for the contract. So, you know. Yeah.
Mind you, this whole time he was doing everything, I was like bawling my eyes out through everything. I come home, I got this, I got that, I'm like, oh God. I always just like literally start crying. Like, yeah. I really did not want him to leave. But yeah, sorry.
But yeah, so yeah, and then all I had to do was sign the contract and pretty much leave. So I went in to get everything filled out for the contract, and you know, in my head I was like, you know, by this point, you know, through each meeting that went by, I was not really thinking about me anymore. I was more thinking about the baby, you know, the baby and like the future of the baby and everything. You know, and all I could think about, you know, is I have to find a better future for my family, because, you know, I had 2 jobs, I was going to school, and I wasn't making enough money to provide for a family, to be honest. And so yeah, I was like, all right, well, this is one way, you know, I can do it. And then, so yeah, so I finally get the contract, signed for it. You leave in, I think like 2 weeks, a week. They didn't give me too much time. It was 2 weeks, yeah. It was a quick contract. I had like 2 weeks to leave. So I had to put in my 2-week notice and the job and everything, school. And
I'm still crying.
She was still crying. And yeah, and all I could tell her was, you know, it's just for a better future for our family and this and that. But you know, it wasn't, we were still, you know, at the stage where we were still kind of like arguing and all that. Because especially more even with the whole army thing. I was
arguing because I didn't want him to leave.
Yeah.
And I was an emotional wreck, basically. I was crying.
So then that's where it became even tougher. So we leave, well, I leave, I go to Fort Leonard Wood in Missouri. We're from Florida, so I leave from Florida, I'm there in Missouri. And once I get to Missouri, that's when everything happens. And I start basic training there.
And then so after he left, like I remember like he went to Tampa to get shipped out, and then that night I was like crying a whole night. And I'm like, what am I gonna do? Like I just like really need somebody to talk to. So I was like, I'm just gonna go back home to my mom. So then I told him that. He's like, whatever you want to do, it's fine. So whatever. So then I get my stuff. I saw his parents, and I thank him for everything that they've done for me. Because, you know, they took me in when they didn't really have to. We were, like, texting or, like, calling when he was over there. He was in a hotel. And then I remember, like, I fell asleep, and then I woke up to a text. He's like, all right, I'm here. Bye. I have something. I love you. And that was the last text I received from him.
No, actually,
he had to, like, leave.
Before that, I asked her for the address, for her address.
Oh, yeah.
For her parents' address, because she was going to go to her parents' house.
To send, like, mail and stuff.
Yeah, so, because the only way you can contact in basic training is through, you know, letters, mail. Mm-hmm. And I asked for the address, and she gave me the address, but one thing she forgot was the apartment number. So, yeah.
But I didn't know that, because I hadn't been there, like, full long. So then the next day I leave, I go to school. So then I get picked up from school. My mom picked me up with my stepdad. And we go back home. And it felt good to be home because like I was just like, you know, also comfortable with, you know, with my family, with my parents. And then like they were like, you know, just asking me how I felt. But then I remember when I got there, I just started crying, like again, the whole crying. I was so tired of crying, like, where my eyes were like saggy. So
saggy.
So then yeah, and then he told me he was gonna give me like a letter in like the first couple of weeks that he was there. And then I remember like I was waiting for those letters, like I wait. And I want to get anything. And I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? I'm like, did he forget about me? I'm like crying again. And then, you know, my mom was like, just wait, blah, blah.
Yeah, and then, but I remember right before I got off the bus, I wrote down the the address she gave me on a piece of paper that they had gave me when I got there. And I'm like, all right, cool, I got her address. I'll write her a letter, you know, as soon as I can. So first whole week is like, you know, taking information. Then you get to your actual room, and you know, you got your little pillow that feels like a piece of paper, your mattress that's like this thin, and whatever, blah, blah. So I'm laying there, I'm like, all right, cool, I get to write her. So I write her the letter, put the stamp on it, the address.
You had to use this little flashlight. That was
Yeah.
so
I had to use a flashlight because it would turn off the lights early. I had to use one of the flashlights to read maps, which has like a red lens on it. So I would have to use that at night to write. And then I remember I shipped the letter the next morning. And I was like happy, yeah, I'm gonna get to, you know, write my wife and hear about the baby and everything. A few weeks go by and I get nothing, you know, I'm like, man, I think she forgot about me, you know, I think she don't want anything to do with me. But, you know, we were laughing right now, but at that moment, you know, I was like,
we were not.
We weren't laughing, I was crying, you know, I was like, man, you know, like, I'm probably never gonna see my kid or anything. And so I'm like writing my family at the same time, and I'm getting mail from my family. So I'm like, you know, how am I getting mail from my family and not from her? Even though I've written her, and by that time, after a few weeks, I wrote her like a whole bunch of letters, and none of them got to her. And then finally, I get I told my sister to ask her for her address, or to ask if she got my mail. And then my sister went, and then she sends me the address. And when I see the address, the freaking apartment number's on there. And I'm like, oh my god.
Remember you called me once?
I called you, yeah, but that was
already after. He had like a quick like a phone session, and then he called me real quick, and he's like, oh my god, what's your number? Because he was like being rushed. I'm like, I forgot the apartment number. Cause like, I said, Mom, I'm like, Mommy, what's the address? She's like, show me the whole address, and then she's like, apartment number, and I'm like, I felt so dumb. I'm like, no. Yeah. I forgot to tell him that.
So yeah, I was thinking the whole time, you know, that she forgot about me and blah blah. But yeah, in that time, you know, you're isolated from everything, your phone. The only time I got like, 5-10 minute phone calls. I got it like 3 times the whole 10 weeks I was there.
Even though like I wasn't like isolated like that, I felt like alone too, because I sometimes just wanted to talk to him, like not my parents, even though I love you guys, but like I just wanted to talk to, like, you know, Fabian, and like I just felt like I was crying because I missed him, and it was just really, really like tough time for the both of us.
Yeah. Finally, the graduation day comes, and we already got in contact with each other. You know, we're writing letters. And she sent me pictures already for the baby, and he was huge, the belly was huge, you know. I never got to see that in person, but, you know, I saw it in the pictures, and then every time I got a picture, you know, it was like, man, you know, I got happy, and in all that time I was there, you know, it brought me closer to God. That moment was for me to, you know, get closer to Him, and, you know, learn from my mistakes, and you know, tell myself, you know, even though you went through what you went through, it's, you know, everything's gonna be all right. And it was just a time where God used that time to build my character, to build my morale, to build, you know, just me as a person, you know, and change me. And then all that went by, and graduation came, but she couldn't come to the graduation because, you know, it was already too far along. She was already on her third trimester, and she couldn't fly on planes anymore. There's a certain
point where you just can't like travel anymore.
So my parents drove out there. So they were at the graduation. But during the graduation, I remember I was on FaceTime with her and everything. Yeah, so I only saw my family for 2 days, and then they left because that was all they gave us. Then I get shipped over here to Arizona. And once I'm here, I remember I graduated July 21st. And then the baby was born August 7th. So I remember it was August 6th. I had pretty much like pool security. And after my shift was over, I come back. I had a missed call, and then I called her back. She's like, oh, I'm already at the hospital. I think I'm going into labor.
No, it was August 7th. Oh no.
August 6th, yeah. It was on a Sunday. And I'm going into labor, blah, blah. So it was almost time to go to bed, and I run downstairs because the time was close. So I run downstairs, I talk to my sergeant, and I'm like, Sergeant, I'm having an emergency. My wife's currently about to go into labor. And he's like, oh, he kind of like, wait, what? And yeah, I was like, yeah, my wife's going into labor. She's like, all right, well, he pretty much did everything. He was really good with everything. He helped me as much as he could. He got the approval from the commander, from everybody. And he was like, I was waiting in he told me to sit in the room. I was waiting in the room, hopefully, you know, hoping they could approve it. And then he's like, all right, so you gotta call, what was it, emergency?
Just gotta call, like, a lot of stuff.
Yeah, so I had to call. They wouldn't approve it. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm not gonna be able to go. They wouldn't approve it. And then the doctor, she asked the doctor, and then the doctor was like, all right, well, have them call me, and then I can, you know, let them know that you're actually in labor. Because pretty much they have to have a message saying, you know, she is in labor, like, for me to go home.
Like, to not lie or anything.
Yeah, so they call the hospital, the nurse approves it. So he's like, all right, get the ticket, and then once the commander approves it, you're good to go. Commander approves it, boom, boom, everything works out perfectly fine. I buy the ticket, and...
But before that, like, during those weeks, he was actually getting ready for us to come over here. So he was, like, getting a house over here for us. He did, like, a lot of stuff over here when we were waiting to,
here in Arizona.
Yeah, in Arizona. So he was doing that, like, every day, trying to get everything in order for us to come over here and to live over here with him.
Yeah, so... I think it was that week before I managed to get the house.
Yeah, we had just got the house.
Yeah. So everything worked out perfect. Thanks to God, everything worked out perfect. So that week we got the house, and that Sunday, that's when I got the call. So yeah, they approve it, and then my sergeant's like, all right, go get changed, this and that. He was like, you have like $120 because that's what they're gonna charge you. And luckily there was two other soldiers there at the desk, and they offered to take me to the airport. And the flight didn't leave till the next morning. So I was there overnight. I sat at the airport for like 5 hours, 6 hours, and like early in the morning. Yeah, she was already in the hospital. I was keeping contact with her the whole time. So early in the morning, I couldn't sleep at all. I think I slept like maybe an hour the whole time I was at the hospital. And then I wake up.
Oh, airport.
Huh?
You said hospital, airport.
Oh, at the airport, sorry. So I wake up. I go towards the gate to the where the flight's gonna leave. And I get the call from my wife, and she's like,
let me tell my story.
Alright, go ahead.
Okay, he's going so fast. So then, it was on a Sunday. After church, I went back to, no, cut that out, delete. So on a Sunday, like, I started like slowly getting like pre-contractions. They were called the Braxton Hicksons. So like the pre-contractions, and then my due date was August 8th. So then I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna try to get this baby out because I'm just like tired of being pregnant. Like I can't even walk, my feet are sore, like everything is just like hurting me. So then after church, my parents took me to the mall to go walk around because walking helps to like
induce labor.
Yeah, to induce labor. So then we went to the mall. I was like trying to like speed walk everywhere. I was like walking with my big old belly all over the mall. And walking and walking and walking until like finally towards the end of like the whole like mall experience, I started getting like a pain like in my stomach. And I'm like, I think it's working. Like I was getting excited because then I knew like when he came, Fabian was gonna come. So I was getting excited because I was gonna see Fabian too. So I was like walking, and then the contractors started like hitting like, you know, more and more. I'm like, all right, let's go home so we can go. So I'm like in the parking lot walking back to the car. And they're getting stronger and stronger, and I'm excited, but then they started hurting. Like, oh my God. So on the car, they were like hitting me. We were on our way home, and started hitting me. We got home around like 3, 4 o'clock. And then they just started getting stronger and stronger and stronger. So I took a quick shower. Told my mom, like, Mom, we have to go to the hospital because like these are like really, really hurting me. So we went around like 7 o'clock at night to the hospital. And then I got checked in. They checked me if I was dilated. I was like 90% of phase and like 1 centimeter dilated. I was excited. I was like, oh my God, like 9 more centimeters is in here. And then I was supposed to go home, but then I had like high blood pressure, so I had to be monitored like overnight. So then I stayed overnight. I got admitted to the hospital. They put me in the delivery room, which is like a room, and then like it was a room basically. So then I was there, and then the whole process started, like the epidural, after that, it was like the waiting game happening. They connected me to like the heart monitors and everything. And I was talking to Fabian the whole time. And then slowly the whole experience, the whole time out there, I was dilating even more. And then like I didn't feel anything, I was good. And then they come in to check me and they go, oh, you're 10 centimeters dilated. I got super nervous, I got super anxious. I was like, what? And then I was like freaking out. I was like, oh my God, like it's time, like it's finally time after all these months, like he's finally gonna be here. So then I got super nervous. I don't know, I was like really nervous and like anxious to meet him. And then my mom and my sister, they were there with me in the hospital. And then my mom, like, you know, she's like, oh my god, you have the Nino, like he's coming. So she got like super excited and she was like nervous. We were all like, you know, I was nervous. And then I was just sitting there, and then like one by one, doctors start coming in, nurses start coming in, and then it was time for me to push. So then I asked him if I could FaceTime baby, and so he can see the whole, you know, process. And then they were like, it's not allowed, but just for that, because he's already on his way, we'll allow you. So then my sister was holding the phone, and then he was watching the whole time. And then
yeah, but let me tell. So yeah, right before we had to board the plane, I went to the gate, and right before they do the call for, you know, to load the plane, I get the call, and it's FaceTime, and then it's her sister's like, oh baby, and I couldn't really understand him because it was like, I guess they didn't really have service or something. And then it's her sister, and then she turns the phone around and she's already pushing, so I'm like, what? And then I'm like all excited, and then like I just hear the doctor like push. So then boom, so that goes, and then they're already calling for us to board, and people start boarding already. And then so,
but remember, because I started on FaceTime, he was so loud. I told my sister, I'm like, turn it down, because I heard, oh, what's going on? I'm like, turn it down.
I was just nervous because I wanted to see everything. Yeah. So yeah, all I hear is, wah, and then the baby's out, and then that's when her sister grabs the phone and takes it, and then shows me the baby, and then I just start crying.
But back to where I was pushing, I couldn't get my legs at all, like at all. So they had to pull my legs up, and when he was saying that, I had to like breathe in like 3 times, like 3 big, like deep breaths, and then I had to push for 10 seconds. So I couldn't, like, I had to hold my breath and just push. So I was like, the whole process of the whole like labor delivery was like about like 10-15 minutes. It was like super quick. And then they thought it was gonna take like almost up to an hour, but it took like 15 minutes, which was like amazing. And then there was a part where like really scared us, because they said that like when I was pushing, his heart rate was going down, and at that point like I was just freaking out, because like no one wants to hear that when they're like giving birth. So then like he's like I think the umbilical cord is around his neck, and at that point like I was like, I gotta get this baby out. That's the only thing I was thinking. There I was like, all right, we gotta do this like now. So then I just kept breathing in, and then I just started pushing, and just kept going and going and going. And he's like, all right, I see the head. I keep going. You're doing great. And he's like, all right, I got it. And then he cuts off the umbilical cord around him, and then he goes like this to show me. And then like that thing was like super tight. It was like purple, super tight. And then and everyone was like saying like, oh, I don't know how long that was in there, but like, you know, he's a miracle baby if he could survive that. I was just so happy. And then when I heard the crying of the baby, I looked down, and then his head was like egghead. And then I started crying. I saw the baby and I started crying. My mom starts crying. She's like holding my hand. We're like both crying. It was like something like so real. Like it was just like an emotion like obviously I can't like describe to you. Only you can know like once you actually go through it. But it was like the most like beautiful moment ever. And then I was like nervous to like see him, because like I don't know how it's gonna look like. And then everyone was like, oh my god, he looks just like baby. And oh my god, I'm like, no. So then I was excited to see him, and they bring me like this cute little swaddle baby. He was like so tiny. And then like I hold him, and then like it was just like the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. And then I was just so happy like with God and with everybody, because even though like everything that we've been through, I will never regret like, you know, bringing like David to this earth, because he's like the biggest blessing that we've ever received. And he's like the most happiest baby ever. He's been smiling since the womb, fun fact.
Yeah, before I left, we did an ultrasound, and he was smiling in the ultrasound. It was pretty funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then, yeah, when the baby's born, and finally I arrived to Florida. My dad, I had already called him while I was at the airport to pick me up. He was like, yeah, it's fine. So he goes to pick me up, picks me up, we get lost real quick. And then we finally find the hospital, and then, you know, we go upstairs, and when I get to the hospital, my sister was standing like right at the very, like as soon as you walk into the door straight ahead, she was holding there with the baby, she was standing there with the baby, and I was looking for more from the shelter.
Totally ignored the baby.
And then like when I get in, I see the bed's empty, and then like her sister's like looking into the bathroom, and she was in the bathroom. And then I turn around, and I see her, and then that's when I hugged her.
And then, each other in, like,
yeah, that's after like, it was more than 3 months, because I was already here.
4 months.
Yeah, so, And then, yeah, she's like, you didn't even see the baby yet. And then I turn around and then I see him, and that's when I hold him for the first time in my arms. And yeah, and then that's when everything just changed pretty much. Like he changes for good. So yeah.
After that, our lives completely changed after that. Like, we knew it wasn't just about us anymore, it's about the baby. And then after that, we moved here to Arizona. We have our house, we have everything we ever needed, have our family here, and everything just like getting back in order.
Yeah. And the only thing I could say pretty much is like, if you're like probably going through this, or if you ever gone through this and you feel like, man, you know, like, I don't know what's gonna happen with me. Only thing that can fix it is time, and you putting in the effort and doing what you have to do to improve everything and to change the outcome of things. So like basically, like, if something like tries to stop you, or if an obstacle comes your way, don't let that, you know, define you. Don't let that, like, don't let that make you fall. Like, whatever happens, learn from it, grow from it, and just keep moving forward. Just leave everything into God's hands and He'll take care of it. Now, you know, we have, like my wife said, everything we need. We're in school, we're finishing everything we
Sorry. By the way, I did graduate high school. So I was still in high school at this time. So I did graduate high school. Now I'm working on college soon. So yeah, everything worked out. Kind of.
So yeah, the best thing I can tell you guys is just to hang in there and pretty much just look for a better outcome in life. You know, always stay positive, even though, you know, the circumstance you're in doesn't let you see the positive things in life. But always, you know, keep pushing forward and look for the blessing that God has already in store for you, and everything will fall into place.
Yeah, nothing is permanent. Everything is just temporary. There's always a season for everything. There's always a time for everything. Everything happens for a reason. And just what he said, just keep going forward. Even though you may feel like this is like the end of the world, like you're never gonna, like, that's it, like you're done. It's not done, because, you know, you'll have a purpose in life that's like, I don't know, I should have something that's gonna come out.
What purpose in life?
My purpose in life. Yeah, purpose in life. So yeah. And by the way, like, I remember how people were like always like giving us like the side eye, the dirty looks.
Yeah, we're not including that in the video.
Yes, hold on, because
No,
I want to say something. Like, it's just a baby. Nobody died.
No, I know. We're not gonna include that. All right.
Why not?
Anyways, let's get to the. Oh crap! The battery's dying. All right, we gotta be quick. So now let's get to the giveaway thing, right?
Yeah, put the charger on. Oh, no charger. We have to finish the video though. We can just move the giveaway and end it. Okay.
Alright, so how do we finish it?
And and that's the story of the video.
And that's the story of
our
pregnancy. And now we have this beautiful guy here.
He just woke up.
He just woke up.
He is the most happiest baby you will ever meet.
Say hi. His hair.
He's such a blessing to our lives, and he's the cutest baby.
And everybody loves him. Say hi. Give him a kiss. They want to meet you. Say hi. Give him a kiss. Alright, so guys, for the giveaway, it'll be on, probably we're trying to do it by the end of this month, or if not, by beginning of next month. Alright, in order to win, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and turn your post notifications on. And spam our comments and our social media, and we'll be basing it off of that. Pretty much whoever's been following us for a while and all that, you know, just, you know, we're gonna be doing a small giveaway. Yeah, 25 bucks, but we're gonna be giving it away to 3 people. Alright, and the more subscribers we get and the more we grow, the more, you know, we're gonna be giving out and all that. So we're gonna start off small and then we're gonna increase from there. But turn on your post notifications.
Make sure you comment, make sure you like this video, and just keep commenting, spam the channel. If anything, spam our Instagram channel, we'll check that too. Link is in the description.
In order to win, you need to download the Cash app, and we'll be sending you guys the money to there. So comment with your email.
Positive comment.
Yes, comment with your emails so we know where to send it. So we will be announcing it as soon as we can. All right, so
stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Make sure you like, comment,
share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching.
And thank you guys for watching. Peace.